everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure accessory review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Universal Monsters Dracula Accessory Set. I got this set from a local toy store called Toy Buzz and Fizz. If you live in Indiana, they get the Neca stuff really quick before anybody else. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, Dracula Accessory Set, Universal Monsters. Here's some of the contents. Got the spider, little possum, the casket, which is going to be the main draw from the set. Top, Dracula Accessory Set, Neca. One side, you can see Dracula coming out of the coffin. Other side, simply have the casket sitting there. At the back, we have the casket, a few other accessories that come in the set. At the bottom, got a barcode, as well as a bunch of credits. So no further ado, let's open it up. Alright, now that we got this thing out of the package, here are all the contents laid out in front of you. It comes with a wide variety of creatures, an armadillo, a giant spider, a little cricket coming out of its own coffin, and then a possum. Of course, the main pull for this accessory set is going to be the coffin itself. You can put Dracula inside of that thing. It's hinged. And it also comes with this backdrop here. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the accessories. We'll check out the action features of the coffin. We'll check it out with Dracula, as well as a bunch of other action figures. So, hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's start off with the creatures. So let's start off by looking at the giant spider. There are a bunch of these sort of lower end, bottom feeder type creatures living at Dracula's castle. We've got this giant spider. It almost looks like it could be a spider in real life. Big body, long legs. You can see the sort of fangs there. You know, that part doesn't look so realistic. When I open this thing up, my wife is deathly afraid of spiders. She was like, that looks like a real thing. I mean, it doesn't really, but from afar it sure can. Sometimes we'll get some big wolf spiders in our house. My son tried to scare my wife with this thing, but he failed miserably. Then I put it on the couch and got her good.
Hey, shut up!
Here's my son hid the spider in the corner in the ceiling where no one's ever going to see it. My wife walked right by it several times. And here's where I decided to put it, in the corner of the couch where it's going to blend in, brown with the couch. She was sitting next to it for about an hour, looked over, bam, it was perfect. And here's a small little cricket thing. In the movie, there was a scene where you saw this bug come out of a coffin. It's been debated whether it was supposed to be a life-size coffin with a giant bug coming out, or sort of a little Easter egg joke with a mini coffin. More than likely it was supposed to be a giant coffin, but their sort of miniature work was kind of poor. This was 1931, by the way. This was a Jerusalem cricket, which is native to the California area, and it's actually kind of funny they would even make this accessory. I mean, it's a bug with its own mini coffin, which it's not even what it's supposed to be. It's definitely supposed to be a giant bug coming out of a coffin, just like Dracula's. Just an odd little thing that didn't come out very well in the film. Now we have this opossum. You may wonder why he has all these sort of odd creatures living in the castle. These are sort of lower, vile creatures, bottom feeders. The opossum, they play dead. They'll eat pretty much anything. Considered disgusting creatures, almost like a rat. Then we have the spider. Of course, spiders are always sort of thought of as evil. Little cricket thing. I think that was just a scene that didn't come out the way they intended. And then armadillos. They're known to dig into the ground. People thought they were digging into graves and crawling into coffins. Now we have this opossum. It's got that signature rat tail. Fur there, sort of gray, black, white. In some ways, it can almost look cute, but then don't forget, it's a disgusting opossum. This thing has zero articulation, and at first I thought it was a giant rat, but it's pretty obvious what it is when you look at it. And now for this armadillo. I'm going to call this guy Lewis. It's an inside joke that, honestly, no one will ever get. He's got that shell. The sculpted detail is pretty nice. I like it. Nice and textured. Paint job's good. Face, once again, a little bit cute. It's got a pretty hard tail. Zero articulation, but a pretty nice looking accessory. Although I can't imagine what I'm ever actually going to do with this guy. Now we have this background here. Pretty sturdy cardboard. Comes folded up. Open it up, and it's going to be the inside of Dracula's castle. Nice for action figure photography. A little diorama type background. Not really a diorama, but you know what I mean. And now for the main accessory in this set. Dracula's signature coffin. See, the coffin looks pretty nice. Very crisp. Straight edges. Got handles here. And each one of the handles is actually hinged. Move it around. People can carry his coffin. Backside, nice sort of wood finish. Coffin itself is hinged. So not only are the handles hinged, but the actual coffin. And it's going to be spacious enough to hold a 7-inch scale Dracula figure. Here's this Neca Dracula's coffin on the left. Next to a super action stuff, Casket of Cruelty on the right. Just so happened to get this yesterday. They both advertise accommodating 7-inch scale. Definitely the Neca one is considerably larger and roomier. And of course, Neca's Dracula figure fits perfect into the coffin. Of course it does. This accessory set is made for this figure. And even though this is not really relevant to this particular review, here's this Neca Dracula into the super action stuff Casket of Cruelty. Now it says it fits 6 and 7-inch scale figures, and that's probably true. Dracula's a little bit taller than your average Neca figure, but I can only fit him in there if I bend his knees a little bit. Just a little too tight inside of there, but it does work. And so that's pretty much everything you get in this set. I'll tell you, the value is not there. For the price, you're getting way less than you should. One of my first thoughts when I saw the set was, how come it doesn't come with a wolf? Couldn't Dracula turn into a wolf? But that was not something in the 1931 film. I do feel like you get shortchanged with this thing considerably, though. Here's an image of the accessory set, all the contents. Dracula in the coffin. He's awakening from his slumber. His thirst is unquenchable. Here's a look at all the accessories that the Dracula figure came with. Now, between the accessory set and the Dracula figure, you do get quite a bit of stuff. But honestly, I feel like all this stuff could have come in this accessory set, especially for the price. Now, there is an upcoming black and white Dracula, and he has a few additional accessories. Looking forward to adding him to the collection as well. Now let's check out the measurements of this thing. So, as far as how tall it is, from top to bottom, about 8.5 inches. As far as how high it'll stand if it's on the ground like this, about 2.25 inches. And as far as how wide it is, about 4.5 inches wide. Now to look at the action features of this thing. We've already gone over them, but essentially the main thing is hinged. You can store all kind of stuff in here, and then it has these 4 hinged handles to carry it on the sides. Now let's check it out. Next to some other Neca Universal Monsters accessory set pieces. Here it is, next to Frankenstein's lab table from his accessory set. Then, next to the sarcophagus from the Mummy's accessory set. Now they haven't made an accessory set for the Wolfman, and honestly, I can't really imagine one they would make. They also haven't made one for the Invisible Man, and they could possibly make sort of his lab, but I also don't think he's going to get one. And here it is, next to the DST, or Diamond Select Toys version of the sarcophagus. It's even larger than Neca's. Now let's check out this coffin, next to some other Neca Universal Monsters figures. We've already seen Dracula inside the coffin. Here he is, standing next to it when it's upright, and then standing next to it when it's laying on the ground. Now let's check it out with some other Neca Universal Monsters figures. Here it is, next to Frankenstein and the Mummy. Then, next to both the Wolfman and the Invisible Man, here's the main figure from each of the different 5 characters that Neca has made so far in the Universal Monsters collection, with this coffin. Here's my entire collection of Neca Universal Monsters figures. We have 3 variations of Wolfman, Frankenstein, and the Mummy, and then 1 variation of Dracula and the Invisible Man, and I imagine there's a black and white version of both of them coming in the near future. Here are all 3 of the accessory set main items that Neca has made so far: the Mummy, Dracula, and Frankenstein. We're not aware of any others they're making, but I'm sure there will be plenty more. Now let's check this coffin out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how it fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can use this thing with. We're going to check it out with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and we'll check out just which lines actually fit inside the coffin. Here's the coffin, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And yes, the Jack-specific figures certainly fit in this thing. And here it is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select toys. And even Diamond Select's giant-ass John Wick figure fits inside this coffin. Here's some McFarlane toys next to the coffin. And even this ill-built, poorly articulated, Color Topps Walking Dead figure fits in there. Very spacious, very roomy, great for 7-inch scale. Then, here it is, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here's the DC Essentials Deceased Zombie Batman in this coffin. And here's the coffin, standing with some NECA figures. Here's the NECA 1989 Michael Keaton Batman in this thing. Then, here's some Mattel wrestling figures next to this coffin. Here's a tall Undertaker figure in the coffin. Fits great with the Undertaker, and he fits in no problem. And now, here it is, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. Here's a slightly taller Jazzwares wrestler in this coffin. And here's some Mezco 112 collective figures next to it. Here's a Mezco Black Mask into the coffin. Starting to look a little too small for it, but it still works. Then, here's some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures next to the coffin. Here's a slightly taller Mattel Alfred in there. And here's some Mafex figures staying with the coffin. Here's this Mafex Hush Batman with the long flowing cape, kind of reminiscent of Dracula. He fits in here. Then, here it is, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. A Hasbro figure in the coffin, a little on the small side, but it does work. Doesn't look too bad. And here's some SH Figure Arts action figures next to this coffin, and a Figure Arts Batman in the coffin. And finally, here's some Jazzwares Fortnite figures next to this coffin, and a small Jazzwares figure in the coffin. Definitely undersized. So overall, it's a cool set, and it will definitely enhance your NECA Universal Monsters Dracula figure. But I'm very underwhelmed. Yeah, the coffin is nice, but the set should be about $20. I've seen it listed for anywhere between $33 and $45. Honestly, it's a ripoff. The coffin, it feels thin. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of substance there. Yes, it looks nice and holds a lot of your figures, and the wide variety of creatures just doesn't do a lot for me. Seems like this should have been a much more basic accessory pack for a little bit cheaper. Could have just had the coffin. Just my 2 cents. Overpriced and underdelivered. This is going to cost me to give this thing a 5 out of 10 rating. The coffin itself is nice, but you have to factor the price, and that definitely brings it down a couple notches. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.